Today we're installing clip-ons via the triple tree removal method, and we're going to pay special attention that we don't go scratching our yokes, and we certainly don't get caught out scratching our nuts. Well, that was relatively painless. So next up, let's remove the yoke, or as they would say in the US of A, let's remove the triple tree, or in good old Deutschland, the Gabelbrücke, or whatever you call it, it's this. And we need to remove it to get our clip-ons on. And to do that, we're going to need to loosen off the pincher bolts and remove the steering stem nut. Whatever you do, if you've got one of these, don't use it on the steering stem nut. Now, you might have heard of stories or friends that have rounded the steering stem nut right off, but we're going to do it a different way. But here's the big secret tip, it's magic tape. Okay, it's only electrical tape, but that's all you need to wrap around the steering stem nut to make sure you protect it from metal-on-metal contact. But if you're still worried you might mess up your triple trees, then follow this video here. This video is an alternative method to installing clip-ons. If you're keen to get on and do it the triple tree method way, then let's get on with it right now. So here are all the tools that you need. I've also included the clip-on clamps, but I've omitted the bars. We've got a breaker bar, 450mm I've got, to crack the steering stem nut using the 36mm socket. Some electrical tape you can wrap around the steering stem nut, and a ratchet. Once you've broken the steering stem nut loose, you can use the ratchet to undo it the rest of the way. You'll also need an adapter to do that because the socket is a rather large hole. You'll probably find if you've got a small little ratchet like this, it won't be big enough. So you need an adapter. T45 Torx, and that's to loosen off the pincher bolts connecting the triple tree to the forks. And finally, I've got a piece of string. So that's it, that's everything we need to remove the triple tree. key is to have the right tools and the magic tape.
If you find that your yoke isn't quite lining up with the steering stem, then you might have to lift the front of the bike, and one way to do that is if you've got a front paddock stand.
Another thing that might be useful in this case is a rubber mallet, but you want to use this really gently.
This will be different depending on the K model of the R9T you have. This is a K21, so it's 10.5.
Need to install the clip-on bars into the clamps, remembering that the clamps are loose so we can move them forward and back into our desired position. Insert down there. Now I just need to leave a little bit at the end here, and then I'll tighten these with my 5mm Allen key. You can get into like a cruise position with your arms straight or slightly bent at the elbow. I cheated a little bit just before I filmed this, but I set them to a comfortable position. It's roughly 75 degrees. So now we've got the bars installed in our preferred position, and what we need is to install the grips on each of the bars. There's actually a bolt here, and that bolt holds that grip onto the bar. So we need to drill a hole to insert that bolt and attach that grip onto our new handlebars. So the best way for us to do that is to put the grip onto the bar now and relocate the hole, but we need to assemble a few things to do that, to ensure that that hole is located in the exact right position. So I put the grip on just so it's past the bung on the end of the bar end. So I'm just going to thread the throttle back through again. So I've got it there in the correct position now, and that throttle should work correctly. Now it doesn't actually matter whether I put this screw hole here or where around that circumference of the bar, because if it's not quite in the right place, of course I can undo the bolts and turn the bar around, and then the throttle will be moved around further this way. Now you just need to reassemble your throttle onto your bars. Think about there, think about here's right for me. So once the throttle position's right, you can take these bolts out, put a little bit of Loctite on them, some sort of thread locker. I'm using Loctite. Screw that in place. So this part goes facing forward, and the screw is at the back facing towards the rider. I'm just putting the screws back into this part of the assembly. It's a T-Torx 8 which fits in there, and those screws go on the bottom. Just need to test that the movement's good. We've got the throttle assembly fully installed on there, it's all good to go. What we need to do is install the brakes and the brake reservoir. So to do that, I'm just going to grab the clamp that came with it and a T30 Torx. Interesting enough, I'm going to install this bit upside down because that actually normally holds the mirrors, and I don't have mirrors on the bike anymore because now I just race this bike. So I'm going to turn around that way, and then I don't see those, so I don't have to worry about blind caps. On the right hand side, there's this left hand side to do, which is the same thing. Just remember, with the throttle, the bolt goes through here, so you need to align the bolt with the handlebars to make sure you drill the hole in the correct location on the left hand handlebar. Once you've done that, you can install the controls on the left hand side. I'm not doing that because I'm racing my bike, I don't need a horn, I don't need indicators. So there you go, we've got the clip-ons installed, didn't take long at all. If you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it, then please click the like button down below, and if you'd like to see more on the BMW R9T, then hit the subscribe button. Until then, I hope to see you out there somewhere.